Hi there, welcome to the channel. This is Niladri Mukherjee and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I practice here in Guelph, Ontario. So the topic of the day is how can I move to Canada in the fastest possible way, in the shortest period of time. Now, the short answer to that question will be it really depends from where you're watching this video, right? Because if you are watching this video, say for example, from somewhere in Asia, for example, in India, then obviously the processing time for any of those immigration applications are very long. But if you're watching this video for, from a Southeast Asian country, for example, Philippines, for example, from Malaysia, then the processing time for certain applications are not very long. So it really depends from where you're watching this video. But I will try to dissect this topic into two broad formats so that you can understand and, can relate more to your situation. So what is really happening with all the, with all the permanent residency programs or PR? So there is a huge amount of backlog, as we already know, and hence the processing is taking a lot of time. So when I say processing, means that you have already submitted your application for permanent residency and you haven't got a revert. So that processing is taking a way lot of time, and that is the true, that is true from all over the world. Now, if you haven't received an invitation to apply and you're waiting in the express entry pool, who knows when the next invitation to apply you are going to get, because who knows when the draw is going to happen, right? So it's a very, very open-ended kind of a situation. Now, if you're trying to apply for a job in Canada and thinking that, based on that job, you will try to apply for a work permit and then be in Canada with a work permit. Mind you that if you're watching this video from somewhere in Asia, for example, in India, the current processing time for a work permit as per the IRCIC processing timeline is over 51 weeks. And the 51 weeks is just on paper. It can actually take a very, very long time. So realistically speaking, I'm assuming that you want to come to Canada, with the ultimate objective of settling down in Canada to get some permanent legal status or a long-term legal status, such as, with which either you can work or study in Canada. There are two broad options you look at. I will start from least expensive to more expensive one. If you do not have a temporary residency visa, or which you otherwise call a tourist visa in simpler format, that would probably the cheapest and the fastest and the easiest way. I will not say easiest because that depends on how strong that application is, but technically speaking, that is probably the fastest and the least expensive way for you to get into Canada. Now, after you enter Canada, you have a lot of options to choose from, because then you can, approach the employers, you can attend interviews, meeting employers face to face would obviously enhance your chances of being selected. Then there are many programs that do not require the employer to go through the 11-year process, such as Atlantic Immigration Program. So if one of those employers happen to interview you and they like you, they can easily give you the job offer letter, and based on that job offer letter, while you're still in Canada, you can apply for your permanent residency. Now, it may sound very, very easy on the face of it, but actually speaking, it is not, because obviously then you're competing with everybody else who are in Canada. But realistically speaking, once you're in Canada, you will have a lot of options to choose from, right? Rather than applying from those for those job offers from outside Canada. So the first option that I'm talking about is to come to Canada on a tourist visa, see how the country is, go to those places where, which are not very saturated enough. For example, as I've already said, maybe you want to go to New Brunswick, maybe Nova Scotia, instead of settling down your base here in Toronto or, in Vancouver. You might want to go to places like, north, or maybe, a little to west, where people usually do not go, and try to meet the employers. That will actually enhance your opportunity of being picked up while you're in Canada on a TRV. And this is a realistic kind of a situation. So the only money that you're going to spend in this whole process, if you need a professional help, then that person's professional fees, a government application fee of $185, and then your flight ticket to Canada. Now, once you're into Canada, then obviously you can live in places which are not very expensive. You can take a look at Airbnb. There are a lot of places like that. So that is your cheapest and the easiest. Again, not very easiest. It has to be technically strong application, but fastest way for you to get into Canada. Once you're here, you have many options to choose from. If you do not want to come here on a TRV, on a tourist visa, so to say, but you want to come here from the day one on a very long term, then the next best option and the most logical option at this point is to apply for a student visa from outside Canada. Just to give you an example, for example, if you're watching this video from India, application for a temporary work permit from outside Canada for Indian, for Indian nationals take approximately 51 to 52 weeks as per the RCIC processing time, whereas the same for a study permit takes about 12 weeks. So you see 51 weeks is like more than a year, whereas 12 weeks is just about 3 to 4 months, right? So you could still wait for 3 to 4 months rather than waiting for a 1 year after you get the job offer. And frankly speaking, no employer is probably going to wait for 1 year for you to be actually come to Canada and work for them. And obviously, even if you work remotely, you need to have a legal status in Canada, right? If the job requires you to be in Canada. So study visa is definitely one of the workable options. If you want to be in Canada on a little long-term basis from day one, that is workable as well, no matter where you are watching this video from. Students are the priority of the government at this point in time. The government, the colleges, and all the universities, they have lost and wasted a lot of opportunity and money during this whole pandemic episode. Now the country is opening up, now the economy is opening up, and the country needs students like anything. All the real estate, rentals and everything are, primarily depend on students in certain areas. So no students means no business for them. So country needs students. So if you're applying, as a student, this is given a priority, treatment in terms of application processing. And 12 weeks is something that the government says on paper. I have made applications in this last 2-3 months of time, and usually the application gets processed within like 2 to 3 weeks. One of the application got actually processed within 2 weeks. So a well-made application is always something that will be processed in the faster manner as compared to applications which may have some kind of problem in it. So if you are willing to come to Canada in the fastest possible manner, the cheapest option is to come here on a tourist visa and apply for jobs or look for maybe other opportunities. Or if you want to be in Canada on a little long-term basis from day one, student visas may be your second best option. But if you obviously want to be in here and the price is not a factor for you, the expense is not a consideration for you, what you want to be in Canada on a long term from day one, study visa is the option to go. Provincial nominee programs, yes, they are still working. There has been a PNP, there has been PNP draws. There was a big PNP draws yesterday. But my personal problem with the PNPs is that even after you picked up, you still would take a month or two to provide them with a perfect application. And after that, really people get frustrated because the processing time is very, very, very long. Personally, I will not have a patience to wait for over 25 months. After submission of my application. I don't even know how my entire circumstance would be 25 months down the time. That's a very, very futuristic situation. My family composition may change, my life can change, I may want to pursue something else in my career, who knows? And I really am not in a position to really wait for 25 months for a decision. And who knows, the decision could either be a positive or a negative decision, right? So it's really I would say a very futuristic kind of a situation that all the PNP applications are in, which is why you do not see a lot of topic on this channel about the PNP draws and everything else, because you know what, still all the provinces are selecting the applicants for sure. The draw sizes have gone up. Almost all the provinces have had their consistent draws in the first 1 or 2 months so far, but again the processing times are very, very long. And based on my personal experience, I'm an immigrant myself, I know how it feels to just keep on waiting in the pool, or even after you submitted a completed application, it feels miserable to just keep on waiting for a long time. And 25 months or even 2 years is like a super long time to wait for a decision. And after that, obviously you have to prepare yourself to come. So it's like a 3-year kind of a time. That's not something that I personally suggest anybody unless and until the person doesn't obviously want to spend that much amount of money for a study visa, because studying in Canada is not very cheap, it's an expensive option. But the way the future immigration is going, and if my assumption is correct for the year 2022 and 2023, it's the students that are going to get the priority, as far as the permanent residency, as far as the potential permanent residency to Canada is concerned. So just plan your thing accordingly. If you need professional assistance, come to me. I'll be happy to consult you, to talk to you in detail, to understand your objectives, to be able to guide you as to the right course of action. If you're doing things on your own, as I've already said it multiple times, make sure you understand anything and everything, and then take the final steps on your own. Do not believe in information available in silos all across social media and make a mistake. So just be very, very careful on that front. For any for any assistance, just let me know. Just send me an email at contact@nuvonation.ca. Shall be more than happy to assist you. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye.